Okay, let's take a look at the practice problems for the paycheck section that we just did. And our first example says Sarah is paid biweekly. Her annual salary is $33,000. What is her biweekly salary rounded to the nearest cent? So first of all, when we're doing all of these calculations, I just want to remind you that these figures are gross salary numbers. This means that we are looking at the pay before any taxes or other deductions are being taken out. Just as an FYI, it means whatever number we're getting right now, that's not the actual number that's going to be on your paycheck that comes home to you. IRS taxes, state taxes, medical insurance, a whole bunch of other things have to come out of that check, and then you're paid the difference. So when she is being paid bi-weekly, I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste in from the notes in case you didn't do the notes. Monthly means we would divide by 12. We would take her annual and divide by 12 to convert it to monthly. Weekly, we would take the annual and divide it by 52. Hourly, we take the annual and then take the weekly and then divide that by 40. Bi-weekly is to take the annual. Bi-weekly is getting paid every other week. So we take that weekly and divide it by 2. So it's 26 pays per year. Bi-monthly means twice a month. 12 times 2 is 24 times per year. $26 pays per year and 24 pays per year. All right, so in this problem, they're talking about biweekly, and so she's paid $33,000, and we just want to divide that by 12. So I'm grabbing my calculator. You do the same. All right, so I'm showing that comes out to $2,750 is how much her gross salary would be on all 26 paychecks. Okay, so your answer for this one right here is $2,750. When I type all these words into the video key, it's just so that you have access to all the information. The work that you need to post is really just this math work at the very end of 33,000 divided by 12. That's the work you would show on yours, or a screenshot of your Desmos, okay? You don't have to type all these words unless you want to have them handy for our open notes assessments. Then of course you're welcome to type all the words. All the words, okay? All right, Andrew is paid semi-monthly. So again, if I look at my list, semi-monthly is another way of saying bi-monthly, or 24 pays per year. So his semi-monthly salary is $1,220. This time they want us to go backwards. So semi-monthly converted to annual means we are not going to divide. We're going to actually multiply by the 24 in order to get our answer. So we take the 1,220 times 24. Go ahead and grab your calculator. 1,220 times 24. I'm getting that his annual salary is $29,280. Okay. And so on this one, it's not going to be biweekly. This one is semi-monthly. And these are good vocab words to know, because this is real life words, not like, oh, I just need to know it for a math test. Some job you get someday is going to have these different pay periods. Okay, Alex works as a nanny. Her regular hourly wage is $10.25 per hour. If she regularly works 28 hours per week, what is her regular weekly pay? So to get weekly pay, you guys probably calculate this all the time if you work. You're like, how much am I going to make? We multiply the number of hours times the hourly wage. Now this is in cash because she's a nanny. This is not like we're going to get taxes taken out of it, but still, just in case, 1025 times her 28-hour work week. I'm getting $287 per week. And they asked us for weekly pay, so we are perfect. So 28 hours a week at $10.25 per hour. And here's her answer. All right, next one. Fred earns $9.45 per hour, and he regularly works 40 hours per week. He is paid time and a half for each hour of overtime. So first of all, time and a half is 1.5 times. You know what? I'm sorry, guys. Nobody makes $9.45 an hour in this state. So I'm going to change this to $19.45 and I'll adjust it on your document. So your document is already going to say $19.45 magically. Okay. Anyways, Fred earns $19.45 per hour. He regularly works 40 hours per week. He is paid time and a half for each overtime. So time and a half. This is a common overtime rate. Would be 1.5 times your normal hourly. So let's just see if it's worth it for him to work overtime. $19.45 times 1.5. If they ask me to come in on a weekend, let's check this out. 19.45 times 1.5 means I'm going to be making 29.18. You're going to see how I rounded that when you look at your calculator per hour for overtime. So that's awesome, right? Helps you decide whether you're going to work the overtime or not. That would help me decide. Okay, so here we go. Let's say he worked 42 hours. So to calculate this, we add his regular pay plus his overtime to get his total weekly pay. So his regular pay is going to be $19.45 per hour times his regular 40-hour week. Plus, he works 2 hours at that higher rate. So $29.18 for 2 of the hours because he worked 42 hours. So that's 40 of regular and 2 of overtime. So let's do those calculations. 19.45 times 40. I'm getting that his regular pay per week is $7.78 plus the 29.18 times 2. I'm getting that he has overtime of 58.36. And so the total pay, take a minute, add that up. You got it, $836.36. What do you think? Does that sound good for weekly pay? Okay. Lorraine worked 40 hours last week plus 3 overtime hours at that time and a half rate, and her pay for the week was $476.15. So this time we are working backwards with her total pay to try to find her hourly. So this one's actually going to be like a little algebraic equation that we would set up to find this. And if you have a way of doing this algebraically that's not this equation, but you get the right answer, then your work is perfect. So let's check this out. We know that there's 40, let's call X her hourly rate. We don't know what it is. It could be $15 an hour, it could be $16 an hour. We have no idea. X is our variable for the hourly rate. We know that she worked 40 regular hours. So that would be 40 times X She also worked 3 overtime hours. So that's 3 times the 1.5x. What does 1.5x represent? It's whatever your hourly is times that time and a half. So 3 times 1.5x. I'm going to grab my calculator, do 3 times 1.5. Some of you do that in your head. Awesome job. 4.5x. So I know that her 40x plus her 4.5x, they already gave me her total. They said that she made $476.15. And that's a combination of the 40x plus the 4.5x. So here's my equation. The total pay is equal to her regular plus her overtime. And so we got to combine like terms. That'd be 44.5x. Divide both sides. Grab those calculators and divide with me. 476.15 divided by 44.5. I'm getting $10.70 per hour. Okay, so we just set up an equation to work backwards. And so let's go make sure we answered the question. It says, what was her hourly rate? And so we did get X, her hourly rate. All right, last one. David earns $9.85 an hour. He worked, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to make it a different amount. Let's do $20.85 an hour. So he worked 38 hours in the previous pay period. If he pays 8% in taxes every pay period, how much is he taking home? Okay, so first let's calculate his weekly pay, which is the number of hours times okay, so he had 38 hours times 20.85. So this is going to be his total weekly pay here, 38 times 20.85. I'm getting $792.30. Okay, so 8% of that, 0.08 of $792.30 times 0.08. This is how much he pays in taxes. I'm going to round it. It's 0.384, so I'm just going to cut it off to 38 cents. This is how much he pays in taxes. So the difference is his take home. So we're going to take his $792.30 and subtract the 63.38 that they take for taxes. And honestly, I wish it was that low. They usually take way more. Minus 63.38 is 728.92. Now, I did this in 2 steps. Could you have saved yourself some steps? Could you have done $792.30 times 0.92? 0.92 is the remaining multiplier, like how much money that would be on his take-home check. Instead of doing this in 2 steps, you could have noticed that. Anyways, however you did it, that's the answer. His take-home pay would be $728.92. And remember all these words, but you just need to type in the numbers at a minimum or show me a screenshot of your Desmos work. Okay? Alrighty then. Thank you for this. Hopefully you're starting to get the hang of these weekly pay and pay period calculations.